Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet emptiness inside, like something is missing, but you can't quite name it. You're not sad, you're not lonely, but still there's a space, a subtle gap between your outer life and your inner truth. You've got the job, the house, maybe even a family, a routine, a vacation booked for summer. But in the middle of all of that, comfort, success, structure, there's this quiet question that lingers like a whisper in the background. Why am I here? What is this all for? If that question has ever echoed in your mind, you're not alone. In fact, you're human. This isn't a modern problem. From ancient civilizations to today's high-tech world, we've all carried this same existential question. Are we just the result of random particles smashing together in space? Or is there something deeper guiding our path? Even the Buddha, over 2,500 years ago, wrestled with this. He was born a prince, Siddhartha Gautama, surrounded by luxury, shielded from pain, given everything that most people believe would bring happiness. But he saw through it. Beneath the silk and gold, he felt that same silent emptiness, that ache for meaning. He didn't ignore it. He walked away from everything he knew, his palace, his titles, his future as king, because he understood a powerful truth. Comfort is not the same as fulfillment. And maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've ticked all the boxes and still feel something's missing. That's not a flaw. That's the beginning of awakening. The Buddha's answer wasn't cosmic theory or mystical visions. It was simple, grounded, and deeply human. The beginning point is not evident, he said. In other words, instead of chasing after the origins of the universe, what if we focused on what we can know, the reality of suffering and the possibility of peace? He wasn't selling an escape from life. He was offering a new way to live it, not by numbing ourselves with pleasure or punishing ourselves through sacrifice, but by seeing clearly, living mindfully, asking better questions, and listening deeply for the answers within. So maybe the point of asking, why do we live, isn't to find a final answer. Maybe it's to start living like the question matters. Have you ever paused, just for a moment, and wondered, why me? Why was I born into this life, in this body, at this exact moment in time? In Buddhism, there's a powerful metaphor to explain how rare it is to be born as a human. Imagine a vast ocean. In that ocean floats a golden ring. Now imagine a blind turtle who surfaces just once every 100 years. The chances of that turtle poking its head through the golden ring, that's how rare it is to be born human. But here's the thing. It's not just about how rare this life is. It's about what this life allows us to do. As humans, we have something extraordinary, conscious awareness. We don't just feel hunger or joy. We can reflect on those feelings. We can think about our thinking. We can step back, ask, who am I? What am I doing with my life? How do I become more than just habits and routines? This capacity, this metacognition, is what sets us apart. It's what gives this life incredible potential. Buddhist teachings tell us human life exists in the perfect middle. We experience both joy and suffering. We're not stuck in constant bliss like heavenly beings who may never seek wisdom. Nor are we consumed by constant pain like beings in lower realms. We live right in the balance. And that balance is where growth happens. It's like soil. Too dry, nothing grows. Too wet, roots rot. But the right balance, that's where transformation happens. That's this human life. And transformation doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means becoming deeply, beautifully, honestly yourself. The self beneath all the noise, the distractions, the expectations. You don't need to become a monk or live in a forest to walk the spiritual path. That path begins wherever you are. When you choose kindness instead of anger, awareness instead of autopilot, compassion instead of indifference, that's the path. That's using this human life wisely. Science also supports this. Neuroscience shows us the brain's plasticity, how it can change, adapt, and rewire. Even a few minutes of mindfulness a day can reduce stress, improve memory, and boost emotional regulation. Imagine what a lifetime of conscious living could do. So the real question isn't just, how rare is this life? It's, what are you doing with it? Are you drifting through it, or are you waking up within it? This life you have, it's not a coincidence. It's not just a biological accident. It's an opportunity, a doorway. a field full of seeds. You can choose what to plant, you can choose what to nurture, and maybe, just maybe, this human life, as imperfect as it may seem, is the perfect place to awaken. Have you ever noticed how some of the deepest pain in life doesn't actually come from obvious things like poverty, loss, or loneliness? It's strange, isn't it? We can survive hardship. We can endure failure. But what truly breaks us down, what drains us quietly over time, is our constant attachment to how things should be. That silent voice in our heads whispering, "I must have this to be happy," or "I need to become that to be worthy." It's not the pain of what's missing. It's the pain of clinging to expectations. Buddhism offers a powerful insight here, one that sounds simple but cuts deep. Suffering doesn't come from our emotions or our situations. It comes from our resistance to them. Think about it. Emotions themselves are not the enemy. Fear, anger, sadness, even jealousy, they're not bad, they're messengers. Signals that something inside us needs attention. But the moment we ignore them, push them away, or let them control us without understanding them, that's when suffering begins. The Buddha taught this with incredible clarity. He didn't say don't feel, he didn't teach us to numb ourselves. Instead, he encouraged us to observe, to sit with what's real, even when it's uncomfortable. For example, imagine you're overwhelmed with anxiety. It's tempting to scroll endlessly, binge watch something, or escape into work. But what if, just for a moment, you paused and asked, what is this anxiety trying to tell me? What fear lies beneath? What expectation am I clinging to? This practice of looking directly at our emotions without judgment is liberating. Neuroscience backs it up. Studies show that mindfulness rewires the brain. We begin to respond rather than react. We create space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies freedom. Freedom from being ruled by moods. Freedom from chasing happiness in every corner. Freedom from defining our worth by the highs and lows of life. We suffer most not because we feel too much, but because we resist what we feel. Or worse, because we believe our feelings define us. But you are not your fear. You are not your anger. You are not even your sadness. You are the awareness behind it all. So the question isn't, how do I stop feeling bad? It's, how do I start listening better? And perhaps, what might happen if I stopped running and started sitting with what's true? That's where healing begins. That's where wisdom begins. And that's where peace quietly walks in. Have you ever believed that happiness, peace, or even enlightenment is something far away? Something that requires retreating into the mountains, giving up your life, or meditating for years in silence? But the Buddha's wisdom offers something far more accessible and far more radical. Nirvana isn't at the end of the road. It's not hiding in a secret temple. It's here, in this breath, in this moment, in this step you're taking, right now. Buddhism doesn't ask us to escape life, it asks us to embrace it fully. Not by judging or controlling every thought, but by simply being present. When you're washing dishes, just wash the dishes. When walking, just walk. It sounds too simple to be powerful, but it's exactly this simplicity that changes everything. Most of us live on autopilot, rushing through tasks, lost in thoughts, pulled by emotions. We grasp at pleasure and resist pain. But this resistance, this reactivity, is the true root of suffering. Mindfulness isn't mystical. It's not reserved for monks or gurus. It's coming home, to yourself, to the now. Even one moment of real presence can unlock a deep peace that no success, possession, or external reward can provide. True freedom isn't found by escaping the world. It's found in meeting the world with an open, aware heart, without clinging, without fear, without judgment. The Buddha didn't tell us to become someone else. He invited us to return to who we already are, awakened, wise, and compassionate by nature. And the path? It's not somewhere far away. You don't have to wait. You don't have to search. All you need is to begin right now. Friend, we've all had those days, the ones that feel impossibly heavy, when everything seems to fall apart and the pain feels too much to bear. In moments like that, have you ever wondered, why does life have to hurt so much? But here's the thing, the Buddha never taught us to eliminate suffering completely. He didn't promise a life free of pain. What he did teach was how to transform suffering. Like the lotus that blooms from the mud, beauty can arise from the darkest places. He said, no mud, no lotus. Suffering, when we face it without running, without judging, becomes a teacher. Every failure, every heartbreak, every loss holds the seed of compassion, wisdom, and inner strength. If we dare to stay present with it, we don't just survive it, we grow from it. Think about it. Isn't it during our darkest times that we learn to truly appreciate the light? Isn't it in falling that we learn how to rise? Transforming suffering isn't about pretending it's not there. It's not about faking strength or pushing it away. It's about meeting it honestly, with mindfulness, with gentleness. And from that space, something unexpected happens. We begin to awaken. We begin to soften, to understand ourselves and others more deeply. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to step into your pain with courage. Because perhaps, right there in the middle of it, a flower of peace is waiting to bloom. So really, why do we live? Maybe you've asked yourself this in a quiet moment, lying awake at night or staring out a window, feeling an emptiness you can't quite name. Are we here to achieve something monumental? To succeed? To be remembered? To stand out? The Buddha gave a surprisingly simple answer. We live to end suffering, to discover true happiness, and to awaken. Not to become someone great, not to reach a goal someone else defined, but to wake up right here in the middle of life's chaos. In this very body, with this very mind, and all the joy, anger, fear, and love that comes with being human. You see, happiness isn't waiting at the end of some long road. It's not something you earn after checking all the boxes. It's already here, right now, in this breath, in this moment. If you're willing to slow down and truly see it, most of us are searching, endlessly, for meaning, for peace, for that one answer that will finally make it all make sense. But sometimes truth isn't found in words. It's found in stillness, in presence, in simply being awake to what is. You're not here to chase after something. You're here to come home, home to yourself, to this life. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most powerful thing of all. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need to wake up. That's enough.